Pisa, Italy, where we think we have Alfonso Cuaron waiting to speak with you and to take your questions. I'm told it's going to be about a minute. And you know what? I think it takes a little bit of time to sit with a film and absorb it. So it's probably a good thing. As I said at the beginning, the film really, I fell in love with it as I was watching it. And I found that I've just watched the end of it again with you, and it's such a powerful way that it ends, and I was just really struck with it again. So I might be a little emotional. Hope that's all right. But please, we've got, I think I'm told about 20 minutes or so for your questions. I will ask one question off the top, that's all, and then the rest is over to you. So if you've got things that you're curious about and you want to hear directly from Alfonso, please gather your thoughts. And here he is, Alfonso Cuaron. Hello. Hello, Alfonso. Can you hear us? Okay, we can't hear you yet, but we think we can fix that soon. Can you hear us okay? Nod if you can.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Wonderful, thank you. So this is Cameron, and this is your Toronto audience. On a Thursday afternoon, we've just finished watching Roma. I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for taking the time and for making this beautiful film, this beautiful portrait of Cleo. I watched the last half of it just now again, and what always strikes me is just the detail in the image, the detail in the sound, and how you've created the world around Cleo in such a detailed manner. And I know that this is, in part, the story of the woman that you spent a lot of your childhood with. Can you tell us a little bit about what was important, most important to you in the world you were recreating in Roma?
Well, before anything else, good evening. It is evening there, right?
It's afternoon. I think it's evening where you are. It's afternoon here.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Cameron. And hello, everyone. Thank you for having been here this afternoon. So, yeah, the point of departure of everything was memory. When the film manifested, it manifested with three pillars. One is that it was going to be the story of Cleo, based upon a person that is really close and really dear to me. The second is that the tool to approach that was going to be memory. And then the third was, we'll talk later about the black and white. But the situation of Cleo, the thing is how you approach Cleo. And this was when we went into that tool of memory. And when you access memory, very often, you begin with details. And one detail suddenly opens the universe. You know, it's, and it is very interesting because at least happens to me. I don't know, I can only talk from the standpoint of my own memory and my own experience and my own perception. But sometimes I don't remember some event in the past. But if just a little detail shows up, suddenly that detail opens the door into a whole universe, you know. And so it was from the very beginning, even in the screenplay, is very described, very detailed. And then the work what we did during the pre-production, a lot of that was about those details.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to you now. I've got tons more questions, but let's hear from you. Let's go right here first. Yes?
Yeah, hello, Alfonso. My name is Julian. So I just have one question. What was the hardest shot to do? Like the hardest scene? Was it with the Alconazo or what was it? And second, I'm going to say this in Spanish. Tú inspiras mucha gente mexicana que está en todas partes del mundo. Entonces te agradezco por eso.
Bueno, pues muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. In terms, you know, there's different ways of how scenes can be difficult. Some scenes are difficult technically, some scenes are difficult logistically, and some others are more difficult emotionally. The Halconazo that you're referring, I guess that was one that embodied a lot of different the different considerations. Logistically was a nightmare because part of what we're talking before about detail is that once that all of these details and all these moments manifested, now the idea was to that the way that we were going to approach them cinematically is by honoring time and space, meaning that we wanted to shoot as much as possible in the places where the action took place more than 40 years ago. And in that particular scene, that massacre occurred in all this area, but particularly in this avenue called Calzada México Tacuba, and that's where we shot. Not only in that avenue, but also there are in some photos of we refer to that massacre as the Halconazo. Halcon means falcon because that's how they call that paramilitary group, the Falcons, Los Halcones. So there's a very iconic photograph of a long-haired student with a white shirt, running, looking back, escaping from a halcon that is chasing him with his stick. And behind them, you can see this building. That is the building where we shot. And in that building, in the second floor, there was a furniture shop. And you could see in the windows of that furniture shop, people looking down to what was happening in the street. As a kid, that photo fascinated me because I would put myself in the position of the outlooker from the window. Anyway, we decided that we had to shoot in that place. Now it's a gym. We need to turn it into a furniture shop, and that was already a big logistic thing because it's a working gym, and said, well, that's what we do for a living, so we need to first move a whole gym to another location and make it workable in another location, and then turn that location into a furniture shop temporarily. Then we had the thing that we have to block that avenue for three days, and it's an important avenue to access downtown Mexico. So that was already a nightmare. So we have also hundreds and hundreds of extras. I think we have close to 1,000 extras there. So what we did is that we have to rehearse in a football field weeks before the whole staging of what was going downstairs. So it was a very logistic scene problematic from the logistic standpoint. There are others that were more problematic, or the beach that we need to build a pier to go all the way inside the ocean. Others like the steel berth, because it's a scene that this film was done without. I had a very detailed screenplay that I didn't share to anyone. I didn't share it to the crew. I didn't share it with the actors. Let me put it this way. The only person that contractually could have the screenplay was my co-financier, Participant Films. But the deal was that only David Lindy, the head of Participant Films, could see the screenplay. And so I delivered to him the screenplay, but in Spanish, and he doesn't speak Spanish. So nobody had the screenplay. And we shot in absolute continuity, chronological order. And every morning the actors were learning their circumstance. And what happened is that they start getting really engaged with their characters and their circumstance. And sometimes I could hear them talking about speculating what was going to happen next. So a lot of this was playing with their expectations. And what happened in that particular scene is that we have shot everything in perfect chronological order. The last thing that we did is when she enters to the delivery room. And then I stage with the doctors, and those are real doctors and nurses that do that for a living. I mean, the scene that you see, they do it like 12 times a day. Most of them, thankfully, gratefully, with good results. And so they staged that, but the way that it would have happened. And when everything was perfectly staged by them, we went to shoot, but Yalitza hadn't seen anything because we were staging with a double. And when we started rolling camera, and she knew that she was going to deliver her baby. And that's what I said. I said, you know that this is the moment that finally you're going to deliver your baby. And there you go, she goes, and Yalitza describes it that the doctors were so professional that suddenly she got carried away by the whole scene. But she was thinking that we were going to bring from below the table a live baby, a crying real baby. And she was really shocked and that's take one, because you can see her, how broken she is when she realizes that that her baby is dead. So that emotionally kind of was very intense, but it was also that to lead to that moment, it was the whole process of doing this film this way. Sorry for the long answer.
Thank you. It illuminates so much of the power of the film when you know how you were able to do it and deceive your actors so beautifully. All right, let's see who else we have. Right here, yep.
Yes. Hi, Alfonso. How are you doing? My name is Max. I'm from Colombia, actually, by the way. I have seen
You don't sound Colombian.
Yeah. Okay. Puedo hablar así si quieres.
No,
Okay, so I saw a lot of details, like specific, dog shit everywhere, the license plates being shown, the planes overhead, very, very specific details. Are all of these things like very carefully planned from before, or any specific things that you show are developed through the film that you're directing and you think like, I like this, I gotta show this again, bring it back again?
The thing is, I didn't share the screenplay with anyone, not even with Guillermo del Toro and Alejandro González Iñárritu or Pavel Pawlikowski, that we always, or my brother Carlos, that we always collaborate with each other. Because after 1 year of just accessing memories and accessing Libo's memories, the person upon whom the character of Cleo is based, I just sat and in 3 weeks I wrote the screenplay. It was like almost automatic writing, without any consideration in terms of narrative or character arch or absolutely anything. Trusting that throughout my career I have developed a narrative muscle that was going to take care of everything. And when I started shooting and I was prepping, I had a temptation to suddenly I would remember something, or I would have this idea that I thought it was cool, and and I didn't allow myself to do it, because I just wanted to respect the integrity of that process, and that was part of the discipline of that process. What changed a lot, and all the details and stuff, everything was very disciplined in terms of finding the precise materials, the precise things. 70% of the furniture of the house are the original furniture that we recover from different places in Mexico, around all the country. And but what was changing all the time is that because the actors didn't have the screenplay, what I would do is that every morning I would give to specific actors their dialogue in a page. And to the other actors, I would give very specific instructions, but everything was separately. I never staged as a group. And everything was, they knew that our conversations were confidential, so they could not share what I was telling, them to the others. And so what happened is that also all these instructions would contradict each other. And what happened is that when you roll camera, there was this immense chaos. And it was beautiful. You know? Because life is like that, you know, and what happened is that rather than knowing what was going to happen, I was just observing moments of how, you know, stuff that I would not ever think about, you know, because those things that just happen with human dynamics. And you know, so I would do one take, and then I would change one more time the instructions and the curveballs, and it was the process like that. For instance, when Cleo tells Sophia that she's pregnant, Sophia had the dialogue, the written dialogue, and I have given it the night before because it was a long scene. But in that pages that I gave her, Cleo would come to her crying, and she is reluctant to talk. And finally, she confesses, and is that she broke some dishes. So Sophia didn't know, or Marina, the actor, didn't know that what Yalitza was going to tell her, you know? Or I would tell Marina, you know, make sure that your older son writes a good letter because the older son has the greatest affective bond with the father. And just before rolling camera, I would tell the older kid, the moment that your mom starts talking to you, you get up and leave. You know? And then, so it was this chaos, but that then all those reactions are real, you know, and yeah, so that was the randomness of what was going on, but the details and stuff, you need to sort that out. I mean, it's not that you just go out and you find streets of the 1970s, you know?
Okay, I'm told that we are very short on time. I want to take two questions.
Oh my God!
I know already,
answers,
right?
Long
I know.
answers, right?
No,
I
it's not your
say
fault.
yes and no.
No, we need more. We're going to go to two questions back to back right here, and then one down front as well, please. Yes.
Hi. In your career, you've put a lot of effort into building these soundscapes, and especially for this film. I don't know if there's any other film this year that you must absolutely see in this kind of theater and with this kind of experience. So I wanted to ask you about your creative process towards sound and perhaps what it's like to work with this team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll hold that. So the question is about the soundscapes and the Atmos sound design. And then the other question, where do we have? Right here? Sorry, we'll come back to you. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is John Elios. Great film, loved it. I wanted to know, when did you decide to make it a final output in vintage black and white?
Okay, so about sound and about black and white.
Yeah, first of all, in terms of sound, it's so great that you're watching the film in that particular venue because it sounds awesome. So I'm happy that you're having you have that experience. Sound was described from the screenplay. It was very, very, very detailed. You know, you could just. I mean, it was a very densely written screenplay. I wanted the camera to be like this ghost from the present that visits the past, and just hovers there. You know, detached with much judgment, just observing. But that goes from the present, is partaking in that space. So has a sense of that sound all around. As I wanted to honor space, I didn't want space to mean the stuff that you see in the frame. Is your own perception of space. A lot of, when you how to try to access memories, usually comes with a specific sense. Sometimes comes from smell, sometimes from taste, but very often as well comes from sounds, obviously music. In terms of the black and white, that was part of the DNA of the film. I didn't question it. What I don't disagree because it's not the agreement of disagreement. But I was trying to do. I didn't want a vintage black and white because the only way you can access memories from the standpoint of the present. And I wanted a black and white that is absolutely contemporary, 65 millimeters, digital, honoring digital,
Unapologetically?
Thank you. Digital, with an amazing dynamic range, resolution, grainless, to look into the past. I didn't want a film that looks as if we shot it in that period or emulating the period of the 50s, the great, amazing black and white that I love. But it's a completely different approach. That black and white is grainy, a beautiful grain, long shadows, greater contrast. And this is pretty much the opposite. But it was from the DNA of the inception of this film.
Thank you. All right, this gentleman down here had a question. Can we get the mic to him?
We had a question up here.
Okay, we have a question right here. I did promise this gentleman that we'd get the mic to him, and then we'll go back.
Okay. I'm looking the right direction, right?
You are.
Yes,
Like
you
this?
are.
Like this?
No. You were good. You were good.
Like this? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cuaron. I love your movies. My name is Bo Tanis. Not Botanis, but Bo Tanis.
Okay.
Okay. Why the name Roma? I'm sorry, I did not connect how the name Roma came in. And also, I love that you took time for the camera to linger. So many movies are cut so fast, and there were times when we could just see a room or people. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Roma is the neighborhood where the scene takes place. I have to confess that the name, I didn't even think of the name. The name happened because when the production, as they didn't have a screenplay, the production had to start working and asking for permissions and for permits in locations. And as a lot of them were in Colonia Roma, that's where the story took place 45 years ago. And so just tentatively, they started calling it Proyecto Roma, and then eventually Roma, and then it stuck, So you should ask why Roma to the production manager. He may have a better answer. In terms of, the other question was about, you were asking about Roma and?
Oh, the allowing the camera to linger on the scenes.
Same as that goes, the film, I wanted to honor time and space, and time in real time, allowing, and silences and non-action is also part of time. And so I just wanted to honor that sense of time, and I wanted scenes that flow in a frame of real time. So that's the reason that of the long takes, pretty much, in a short answer.
Thank you. I'm sorry, we are going to have to cut it off here. Alfonso, thank you so much. Mucho gracias for your time.
Thank you.